hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
So today we're going to be starting a new series called Mistakes of the Month, where I discuss all the mistakes I've made from last month. So this will be reselling mistakes, bot mistakes, just everything that you guys will need just to kind of understand where I've gone wrong. So then hopefully you guys can avoid going wrong the same way I have. This month hasn't actually been too bad for mistakes. I've only just started botting like the last couple of months, so I am bound to make some beginner mistakes. But so far, we're doing pretty well, guys. We're adding to the collection quite fast. So yeah, we'll get straight into these mistakes. I'm just going to say, I know that you guys can always say, yeah, but what if, like on some of the things I'm going to say. But when it comes to that, I will just like make a little statement just so you guys know that, you know, we can say what if that did happen, what if that didn't happen, but I'm just going off the mistakes that I've made this month. And I think some of them, such as sleeping on some drops, some of them were really silly to sleep on. So without further ado, we'll just get straight into the mistakes. First mistake is using up my data too fast. On my first time using SoAIO, I ended up using it on a Shopify site to get the Spiridons, as you can see in the back. And unfortunately, guys, I used up 1 gigabyte of data in not one drop, but I used up most of it just in one Shopify drop, which 1 gigabyte is a lot of data to use up in one drop. Some people can make it last throughout the whole month. The only reason you'd ever want to use that much data in one release is probably for Adidas or Foot Locker, where you're waiting in Splash for a long time. But yeah, guys, the main reason for this mistake was literally because I had my delays well too low. So I ended up having my delays, I think, under 2000 and under 200 for the ATC, I think. So my delays were well too fast, for Shopify. And you do want to run them low tasks because obviously you've got to try and beat everyone else to the stock. However, I was running them delays on like 15 tasks because at the time that's how I thought you've done it. I thought that you run as many tasks as you want, whereas actually, guys, for Shopify you should only be running a couple of tasks, because what you've got to remember is you've got to solve the CAPTCHAs as soon as they come up. So that's mistake number one. Really silly on my part, but it's not really something that you can research into. It's just something that you learn through your own mistake. So hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake. Don't use too many tasks on Shopify, and don't always go for the lowest delays because you can use up the most amount of data. So guys, the second mistake is when I first started, I just bought too many providers. I ended up buying from 3 different providers for my proxies and just kind of testing the waters for each one. Now, this isn't a bad thing, but 3 providers was just too much. Like, guys, you should experiment, but I just think that I should have used one provider first, tested theirs out. If they didn't work, use another provider. But for some reason, I just thought I'd buy like 3 different providers, and it just ended up costing quite a bit at the start. Like I said, luckily I did sell a pair of them Spiridons for a crazy price. I ended up selling them for 300, and that was when they first released. So I got that money for them, which at the time they were selling for that. But now, as you guys probably know, they've dipped massively. So I had a right touch with that. But yeah, that was another mistake of mine. I just bought well too many providers for what I needed. Right, so now guys, we're moving on into some reseller mistakes. So the reseller mistakes I've made this month. The first one was the Palace EV2T. Now this is one of those where you can say, yeah, but Jack, it could have gone down in value, like you didn't know. But I ended up selling my Palace EV2T for £110 and it was in XL white. Obviously this was still a good profit. I paid 73, sold for 110, but guys, one day after the drop, the highest bid for XL white was actually £180 on StockX. That's £70 more than what I sold it for on eBay. So like I said before, you can say what if it could have gone down in value, but I just didn't really do enough research really around the Palace EV2 collab. I just kind of saw that in my cook group, it looked like it had some decent resale, so I just decided to go for it and just see what happens. I thought, Excel, what can happen? Then I saw all these on eBay, everyone was selling them for like 110, 120, and I thought, wow, I've actually had a right touch. And then I found out later that I could have sold for 180. So that was another mistake, guys, that, you know, it's another £70 at the end of the day. Obviously, fees wouldn't be £70 extra profit, but it still would have been a significant amount profit, 2 times, maybe more than what I already made. So that was a big L for me, but we move on. Like I said, it could have gone either way. I just didn't do enough research into it. So maybe that's something that you guys can do in future, is just research, make sure that you're not selling too cheap, look what other people are selling for, check StockX, and yeah, that's how you can avoid that one. Now, the next one is, in the most recent video you saw this, is wrong keywords. This is the second time now I've used the wrong keywords for Palace, and honestly, it's not actually my fault. I mean, I should have changed the keywords a lot quicker, but I got given the wrong keywords, and you know, I can't blame it on the people that have given me the keywords, because I should have really changed the keywords during the drop. But you know, it is very frustrating when you've set up, you've woken up sometimes nice and early, and you put in the wrong keywords, and then you see that loads of other people on your bot have all cooked the same release. So for keywords, guys, all I can really recommend, for me, one tip I've been given by my cook group is maybe just make sure that I'm using the IRL instead of putting in like the keywords. But I wasn't actually sure that you could do that on Sol. So that's, you know, I'm still learning, guys. I've only just got my bot, but it's really helpful just to know that. So next time I'll make sure I put the RRL in, and that will take me straight onto the product when I change my keywords. But yeah, make sure as well before you're checking with other people what their keywords are. More experienced resellers will probably give you better keywords. But yeah, that was a little bit annoying, guys, because I probably could have got a couple of them. And I don't know if you've seen, but on eBay, the t-shirts I saw yesterday were selling for like 140, which is just crazy. But yeah, so that was a big L for me again. But you know, you can't win them all, and yeah, the keywords were wrong. So yeah, that's one to avoid, guys. Now, the last one is one of those controversial ones where you could say, yeah, but the items could have bricked, whatever, whatever. But guys, for both of these items, I should have gone for them. The first one being the Yeezy slides. Now, I didn't really look into these enough. I saw them on my cook group. I didn't bother to look at them because I'd seen quite a lot of people have said they're going to brick, but I should have looked into it for myself. And turns out that a lot of people actually flip these for some good profit. And I just really regret not getting them, because not only would I have wanted to resell them, but I also would have wanted to see what they look like in hand, because they actually do look quite cool. And it's just one of them kind of slides that you just want to see in person, because they do look quite cool. And it's just another thing that I'd like to, you know, bring to the channel and review shoes. And I think that'd be quite a nice one to review. But unfortunately, we did sleep on that. So we slept on more profit. As I said before, you know, it could have gone either way, guys, but it was low retail. So I should have really gone for them, but I didn't. And then the final mistake, also the same, I slept on the MLB jacket. Now, this is an annoying one, guys, because I don't know if I would have got it. I don't know if I wouldn't have got it, but I didn't even try for it. And the prices on StockX at the moment are looking really, really strong for the retail. And again, I had an instinct where I just thought maybe I should go for this, maybe I shouldn't before the drop, like I always do every week. I'm always contradicting myself. But for this one, I really had a feeling that this was going to do quite well. watched loads of videos on it, like looked into my cook group, see what people are saying. And I saw that a couple of experienced resellers was going to say this was going to brick. And for some reason, guys, I listened to them, and I really shouldn't have. I should have stuck to my own guns and gone for it. But I think that lesson just learns that sometimes you need to trust in your own opinion. And even when other people are saying it's going to brick, you don't really know that they're going to be right all the time. And you should just think of it from your own perspective. But that was all for these mistakes that I've made this month. I will hopefully be bringing less mistakes from me for next month, because I'm hoping May will be a good one with a lot less mistakes. But I will be asking you guys and some people in my cook group just to give me some of the mistakes they've had, so I can just discuss them in the next one. So you guys can cover all bases from advanced resellers to beginners, and then it will just allow me to carry on making these episodes and turn it into a series. So guys, I'll catch you in the next one.